μας εδώ στην συχνότητά μας. Να πούμε λοιπόν, κυρίες και κύριοι, φίλες και φίλοι που είστε συντονισμένοι στην αγαπημένη συχνότητα του ελληνισμού, εδώ στο ραδιόφωνο μας, είμαστε πολύ χαρούμενοι γιατί σήμερα 5η, 31η μέρα του Οκτώβρη, έχουμε κοντά μας έναν πολύ αγαπημένο φίλο. Έναν άνθρωπο ο οποίος όλα αυτά τα χρόνια πήρε τη σκητάλη από τον πατέρα του βεβαίως, τον πολύ άξιο πατέρα του, και είναι ένας άνθρωπος, ο βουλευτής Γκάς Μπιλιράκης, ο οποίος όχι μονάχα κερδίζει, όχι μονάχα πραγματικά μας αντιπροσωπεύει επάξια, αλλά είναι πολύ σημαντικός πατριώτης. Είναι ένας άνθρωπος με υπέροχη ψυχή. Εγώ προσωπικά τον θεωρώ φίλο μου. Προσωπικά πολλές φορές λέμε κάποιος είναι φίλος. Σε μένα το έχει αποδείξει και τον ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Είναι καλός φίλος. Τον ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ γι' αυτό και ό,τι όποτε του έχουμε ζητήσει να μιλήσει, να παρουσιαστεί, είναι πάντα εκεί για μας. Αυτό σημαίνει πάρα πολλά. Γκάς Μπιλιράκης, είμαστε εδώ πέρα με τον Θοδωρή τον Αστρινίδη μαζί. Γκάς, thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you so much for your real friendship and congratulations for becoming first time Papu. Thank you so much, Γκάς. Καλώς ήρθες.
Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ, Δημήτρη. Thank you very much. And you, Dimitri, you're και εσύ είσαι άξιος, okay? And you're a tremendous friend, and είσαι πατριώτης. And I feel an obligation, you know that, and a duty to our Ελλάδα and our Kipro, and of course to the United States, our beloved United States of America.
It's so important to have people like you, and it's just a few hours away, a few days away, Gus. Tell us how is the whole atmosphere there in Florida? How are things? A very difficult election and a very critical one.
Ναι, μάλιστα, συμφωνώ. Dimitri, I think that Trump is going to win. We're not taking it for granted, but it looks like from the early voting, you see lines. Now, δεν ξέρω πώς είναι στη Νέα Υόρκη, στα άλλα μέρη, αλλά στη Φλόριδα ο κόσμος ψηφίζει. Και οι περισσότεροι που ψηφίζουν φαίνονται πως είναι από το κόμμα μου, το δικό μου κόμμα, the Republican. So I really believe that he's going to win. I think that the Electoral College will not be close. Now, the popular vote probably θα χάσει το popular vote. Αλλά, as you know, in the United States, our system, the Electoral College elects the president. So I don't want to be too overconfident. Αλλά έτσι φαίνεται. And Dimitri, I think he'll be even a better president, not only for the United States, but also for our allies and for our Ελλάδα and our Kipro. I think that he's learned a lot those first 4 years, and now he knows who he can trust and who he can't trust. And you know, our fellow Hellenists are business people, and he is good for business. And I think that he's gonna bring in some very, very qualified people. Εγώ θέλω τον Marco Rubio να γίνει Secretary of State. Και Μάρκος τον ξέρω πάρα πολύ καλά και είναι καλός φίλος και αγαπάει την Ελλάδα. Αγαπάει και την Κύπρο. Είχαμε τον Πομπέο με τον Τραμπ και he was a very strong Secretary of State. You know, we need people that are not State Department people. We need people that know the real world. And they're not afraid to think outside the box. Έτσι νομίζω εγώ.
Και βέβαια να πούμε, Γκάς Μπιλιράκη, ότι είναι πάρα πολύ κρίσιμο. Θα πάμε βεβαίως και στο foreign policy γιατί είναι πολύ σημαντικό, αλλά βλέπουμε μια δύσκολη μάχη. Βλέπουμε πάρα πολλές επιθέσεις σε βάρος του Ντόναλντ Τραμπ. Θέλω ένα σχόλιο γι' αυτό, για την καμπάνια των δημοκρατικών. Why are things so intense?
Well, I think that the Democrat Party not the registered Democrats, but the Democratic Party, the machine, is afraid that they're going to lose. And I think that they're desperate. Είδες και είπε, well, αυτός ο comedians, αυτό δεν ήταν σωστό να το πει στο Madison Square Gardens, αλλά ήταν ο comedians, όχι δεν ήταν το Trump και ο Biden λέει, είμαστε σκουπίδια. So, and now I think that they're desperate. Kamala doesn't really have a knowledge of the issues. And they don't have the right candidate against Trump. And I'll be honest with you, some people don't like his personality, but the policies were so good. Έτσι που λέει ο Trump, were you here, 4 years ago? Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? And people say, no. We were thriving in a lot of cases under Trump's administration. And people wrote their pocketbook. Dimitri, τι γίνεται? Our people came over legally from Ελλάδα and Kipro. And these people are just walking in. I go to the southern border on a regular basis. And people are coming in and τι κάνανε στη Νέα Υόρκη, στα ξενοδοχεία. So I think ο κόσμος τα βλέπει αυτά. And I think they're ready for a change.
Γκάς Μπιλιράκη, είναι μαζί μου βεβαίως και ο Θόδωρος και όποτε θέλει παρεμβαίνει και ο Θόδωρος.
Okay.
Γκάς, it's very important. One of the main arguments of the Democrats and in the Greek community, they tend to say that Erdogan is a good friend of Donald Trump. And they are afraid that there may be a breakup in the Greek USA coalition. Talk to us about that. Is Donald Trump a friend of Erdogan? Is it gonna?
No, I don't think he's a friend of Erdogan, but he's part of his negotiation strategy. Like he says, he's friends with the Chinese premier. Feels met on Putin, but that's part of his negotiation strategy. But when he speaks to them one-on-one, because he's told me directly, when he speaks with them one-on-one, he threatens them. I don't believe that Putin would have gone into Ukraine if Trump were president. The Fovana. Now, as far as Turkey is concerned, I will tell you, a few years ago when I was on Air Force One, με ζήτησε να πάω να το δω στο γραφείο του, πάνω στο αερόπλανο. And I said, δεν θέλω να το πειράξω. Αλλά λένε, no, σ' αρέσει, θέλει να μιλήσει σε σένα. Και και εγώ σκέφτομαι, τι να του πω. Λέω, εγώ θα του πω για την εκκλησία και τι έγινε στη Τουρκία. And the lack of religious freedom, και να τον εξηγήσω τι έγινε στην Κύπρο, γιατί δεν ήξερα αυτά τα πράγματα. So, when I told him that, τι έγινε με τη δικιά μας θρησκεία, αλλά με το Brunson. Θυμάσαι το Pastor Brunson, τον είχαν στην φυλακή για πολλά χρόνια και του είπα όλα αυτά. Και μου λέει, the Greeks were like me even more. So the next day, έβαλε sanctions στη Τουρκία. We have a lot of politicians, Republicans, Democrats, presidents over the years that have told us what we want to hear. And look, Biden has always shown that he's a friend of Greece. He was chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee στο Senate. Και οι Έλληνες τον υποστηρίζουν πολύ. Δεν έχει κάνει τίποτα για μας, ας πούμε. And he has been very friendly to Turkey. Look at his Secretary of State. His Secretary of State made a statement today congratulating Turkey on their human rights and democracy.
That was, Gus, I'm so happy you bring this up. I have the letter in my hands. This is outside of every rationale. This is totally, that's the same. We don't share the same values. with Turkey, as Mr. Blinken says.
Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Τι έχουν κάνει με το basketball player, τον Enes Kanter.
Yes, of course.
Βάλανε τον πατέρα του στη φυλακή γιατί είπε κάτι εναντίον το Erdogan. We don't share the same value. Αυτός δεν μπορεί να πάει στη Τουρκία. Πηγαίνει στην Ελλάδα γιατί τον αγαπούν στην Ελλάδα, τον Enes Kanter. Και αγαπάει την Ελλάδα τόσο πολύ. So there's not even, it's not even close. We don't share the same values. And that's what I'm saying. Over the years, presidents who run for office tell us that they're going to help us. And then we get nothing. At least with Pompeo, and I think Pompeo might be Secretary of Defense, and then και ο Marcos να είναι Secretary of State, we'll get to, Trump will listen to them because he trusts them.
Is there any way, Gas Biliraki, to see Mike Pompeo back to office?
I think he might be Secretary of Defense. He's campaigning for Trump. What's nice about Pompeo is he goes to our events, even now. When we were at the Republican National Convention, they have an event for Greek Americans, for Hellenes, και ήταν εκεί με την γυναίκα του, στο τραπέζι. So I think that there's a possibility, and we have, first of all, I have his ear, Trump's ear. Nicole, she's a strong supporter of Trump. Trump listens to you if he trusts you. So we don't know what we're going to get with Kamala. I think we get socialism, and that's not good. That's not good for our lifestyle here as Americans, and for our businesses. I think Trump will consider changing the tax code, maybe getting rid of the IRS, possibly looking at a fair tax or a flat tax. And so he thinks outside the box because he's a businessman. Does he say everything right? No, of course not. Of course not. Then megalosame etsi. Some of the things he says, but he's a real genuine person. I mean, who would go to McDonald's? I mean, if he didn't like it, he loves McDonald's, and he went in and served the people. That was real. Hey, you know better than I do, Dimitri. Mm-hmm. He got along better with the taxi drivers than the elite.
This is
in New York.
True. This is so true.
Yeah.
This is
and that's what I like. That's what I like about him.
This is what people like. And before I give the microphone to Ted, one question regarding the garbage thing. How do you feel? I mean, you are more years in politics, of course, and you have seen many different elections and battles and debates and everything. Have you ever heard anything similar to this? And how do you feel as a congressman who probably is also garbage alongside with another 80 million Americans?
Yeah, Dimitri, it's offensive. It's offensive. These are good, hardworking people. And I'm proud of my Republican Party now being the party of beer and jeans instead of the country club party. These are hardworking people. These are the people that came over to the United States and worked so hard so that their children have a better life. And they left, like Liqueria has a song, Diaspora. They came over here to work hard so their children can have a better life. And it's very hard to leave your country, especially Elada. And we never lose our love for Elada and Kipro. So these are hardworking people. They're the Americans. And I know I'm not going to disparage anybody that votes for Kamala. I don't take it personally. I just think that Trump will make a better president.
Correct.
Good evening. Μικροφωνίζω. Good evening, Mr. Bilirakis, Representative Bilirakis. This is Teras Trinidis. I would like to congratulate you for being a grandfather.
You know, they're not cool, but if you can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
First, I'd like to congratulate you. Do you hear me now?
Thank you.
Do you hear me now a little?
Yeah,
Better?
it's a little better. It's a little better.
Ναι.
Go ahead.
Θέλω να σας συγχαρώ για το μικρό που περιμένετε και and I hope you spoil the baby today.
Oh, are you kidding?
God bless you.
I've already started spoiling the baby. This is the first grandchild que εγώ έχω 4 γιους.
Oh my God. God bless you.
Yeah. So this is the first granddaughter, so we will spoil her.
Oh my God! I hope you do. I really do hope you spoil it because that's the.
I will.
I would like to come back to the some domestic issues and a couple of 2 questions or 3. The first one would be I don't know if you agree with me that if the elections were actual and fair, I don't think. Miss Harris would have any chance of winning President Trump, and it shows everywhere with the vote steal, I would say, but it's a strong word, but it is actually. That's what happened in 2020. Assuming that everything is going to be all right, and we have to be cautiously optimistic. If the presidency, the House and the Senate goes to Republican hands, which we'll pray for it. Do you think that we're going to see another 2016 to 2018 with people against Trump this time?
Do I think that people will, if he wins
if we have the trifecta, are they going to?
I think we'll be in a good shape. Now we have to win more seats in the House. If we have the trifecta, I think he can do a lot. And I will tell you this too, with Elon Musk, if he's part of the administration, he has pledged to look at the national debt.
He has a lot of people, actually, very good people. Very good people.
So, I think that we can do better, even better than 2016 to 2018. And I will tell you this, too. I think that Trump will do better in 2020 than do better in 2024 than he did in 2020. It looks that way because the Republicans are voting in large numbers during the early voting.
But is the RNC and the GOP united, though?
Well,
or are we going to see the same scenario?
I think they're united with the election of Trump. But as far as the issues are concerned, I think we need more of a majority in the House. I think we pick up 2 or 3 seats in the Senate, which would give us a majority in the Senate, and we can get some things done because I think we could work with a few Democrats in the Senate, but not in the House. So I think right now we only have a 3-seat majority in the House. He needs to win. We need to win 10 seats, 10 additional seats to get things done the way we want to. But I think the party will, I really do think that they will rally around Trump and his agenda. But he's going to have to speak out loud and put, like Reagan. Reagan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was an amazing communicator.
Absolutely.
Trump is going to have to speak to the issues and how important they are to the American people. We think about our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren.
Right.
No, I think that there's really a strong possibility that we will be very successful in the next session of Congress if Trump is elected and we keep the House and pick up the Senate.
In our program here, we try to. It's called Friends for the Re-election of Donald J. Trump. We try to convince the people to get up from the comfortable seats and go vote, because the next most important vote that they're going to cast would be not only for President Trump, but also for the local representatives. New York State, for example, has 10 representatives now. If we pick up 4 or 5 more of that, and then maybe another couple of states like that, it can give us that majority that you're talking about.
Yeah,
And that would be a blessing, actually.
absolutely.
I'm just hoping that you guys are united now behind the policy that is going to make America first, because that's the most important, I would say.
Absolutely. Now, the fact that we don't have a lot of conservative, moderate Democrats anymore, we can't count on them for the votes. So to work with Reagan had a lot of Democrats that supported him in the Congress. Then Nancy Fatos. So we have to do everything we can to pick up as many seats as we possibly can. And then we need to be united.
Right.
In our cause.
Well, mention it to your colleagues that here from New York, we want you guys to be united, because that's going to be good for the United States and for Greece as well.
Guys, one question that I think it's really in the mind of everybody. What about the result? Are you afraid of any fraud? Are you afraid of any problems in the election procedure?
You know what, Dimitri? The Constitution says that it's up to the individual states, and there's always going to be some fraud, unfortunately. But we have a lot of lawyers, the Kigoros, all over the country that are actually, they've reported some fraud already. They've identified some fraud. And then they've also looked into, for example, Detroit, where we thought that they were getting these ballots. Many people were getting multiple ballots, but they found out that it was just a glitch in the computer. So, yes, I'm concerned. I'm concerned, but I also think that we're more prepared this time to address the issues. So if Trump wins by a bigger margin, then we probably don't have to worry about it. But I don't want to see this thing drag out. Of course, last time, but 4 years ago, I want to see a clean election, and whoever wins will be certified to be president of the United States. I'm just not very comfortable with Kamala Harris.
But the issue here, the root cause actually, is that there is no punishment for, actually dismal punishment, if any, that I don't know of any, of those who violate these voting procedures, because it's not one, it's not two, it's like hundreds of them, and there is no punishment. And I was wondering if the RNC and the GOP are going to change something if elected and they have a trifecta.
Yeah, I think there will be changes. I think that will be one thing that we're going to look at. We did propose something in the House, the SAVE Act, to make sure, put it in law, because I think it's in the Constitution, but put it in law that you have to show before you register to vote. You have
photo ID, maybe?
American citizen.
A photo ID, maybe?
Voter ID, a proof of citizenship.
Right.
When you register to vote, but also voter ID. It's really incredible that some of these cities do not require identification.
No, but this has to be on the federal level, like a federal photo ID.
Yeah.
For the elections only.
I was down at the southern border not too long ago, and the Spagnoli, the Mexicani, they're concerned for their lives there.
Sure.
They live there. They're American citizens of Mexican descent, and they are so scared to go out at night because these criminals, they're not just Mexicans that are coming through. They're coming from all over the world, and not all of them are criminals, of course not. But we have 13,000 murders by illegal immigrants. It just got to stop. And Trump was making a lot of progress, and things have gone the other way now. Kamala says they say she's the drug czar or the border czar. Yeah, we've got to get tough in this country.
Well, a follow up on this, on the same topic, the president is saying that he's willing, on his agenda actually, and I encourage everybody to go on the Trump campaign agenda and read carefully the agenda that he has. It says that he's going to deport everybody in quotations, but I don't think just by deporting the people without cutting the financial aid, which is going to bankrupt the United States, not only on a federal level, also on states. It's going to bankrupt the states because we see it here in New York City that the amount of money that they're spending for the illegals is it never happened before. So without cutting the flow of money to them, and without cutting the anchor babies, how is that going to work? Because fill me in, please, because I don't understand how are you going to deport 20 million people without doing the right thing, which is the other two.
Yeah, I had a little trouble hearing you, but let me just say this: we got to start with the criminals, identifying the criminals, and deporting the criminals, and then we'll take a look at these other people. Now, they're good people. They come over here, but Dimitri, and I have family too that would love to come to the United States, and they can't. So difficult for them to come. Thousands of dollars they spend on legal fees, and they have to wait for years. And they would be good citizens of the United States without, we still keep our customs or traditions with Risquia or Grossa, but we're good Americans. And so I think we need to make it easier for people that will contribute to America to come here legally. I will tell you that. But we've got to get rid of these criminals in the fentanyl, the drugs that are coming through the southern border, killing our kids. Even in our community, we see it, right? I see it. And it's just awful. So we've got to make some tough decisions. Sometimes they're not popular, but it has to be done to save the nation.
Gus, regarding the foreign policy, I know how much you've been into the committee, and at the end of the day, it is something which is bipartisan, if I may say, and you agree with that. And when it comes to Greece, I see a good communication between all the congressmen and the senators, and this is something really good. If Trump elected, do you think that the agreement for F-16 will go on? Do you think that the F-35s will go on table again?
We will fight like hell to make sure that Turkey does not receive the F-16s or F-35s. The Turks, as you know, give a lot of money to members of Congress. And millions and millions of dollars, and they hire these lobbyists and pay them millions and millions of dollars. So it's a tough fight, but again, Trump doesn't care about money. He's got enough. and he's doing this to save the country. So if we can convince, again, getting the right people in office, and the right cabinet officials, such as Pompeo and possibly Rubio, then we can make a real difference. Things have gotten, as you said, Dimitri, things have gotten better, and these are bipartisan decisions. Whatever is good for Greece is good for the United States. Whatever is good for the United States is good for Greece, and that's true with Kipro too. So, but there, yeah, with some of these people make the decisions based on what's not good for both countries. So we've got to get them out of office. So in any case, yeah, I think that things have gotten better. Now, we're going to lose Sarbanes, which I think will be a great loss. He's a good friend of mine. I think that Nicole has done a great job, but we need more Greek Americans on both sides of the aisle.
Correct.
We're so successful. We're so successful in business.
Why we don't go into politics, guys? This is a very
It's a hard thing, and you sacrifice financially. If you're an honest person, you sacrifice financially, and it's tough on the family. But you've got to it's in our blood. It's in our blood. We have to do this for the good of the country. Και για την Ελλάδα και για την Κύπρο. And so, yeah, we have to have more honest people, and true Greeks, όχι μόνο to have the last name, and μαζέψεις τα λεφτά during campaign time, but somebody that really cares, it's in their heart.
Correct. Guys, can I ask you a tough question?
Go ahead.
Regarding Bob Menendez, he's a great loss for the Greek agenda. I want a comment on that.
Well, I don't know him. I'll be honest with you, Dimitri. I've met him a couple times during Greek events, and he's a friendly guy. And I was surprised, but things happened, which some people seem to think that they did the same thing that the Justice Department weaponized him. I can't really tell you one way or the other. I don't know the character. I will tell you this. The Cubani have been very strong supporters of Elada and Kipro, and we've got to make sure that stays that way.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Bilirakis, we placed the same question to Representative Maliotakis with regards to our children, with the young one, the young professionals here, whether there is an interest from you at Congress, of course, the Philhellenes and the Greek Americans, to either initiate something that it's going to bring our youth towards politics, because our ancient people said that if you are not interested in politics, you are bound to be ruled by people much lower than you are. So,
That's true.
Yeah. So, would there be some kind of a brainstorming this issue and bringing more of our people, more of our kids towards that thing? Because I'm sure every other nationality has certain things, except us.
Well, we have it, but to a lesser extent. It's not all over the country. Certain areas, like Chicago, a lot of the young people come up and they're educated. But it's not enough.
But on a national level, though.
It's not. It's on the national side. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. They need to be educated, and you're right. I mean, they're our future.
Not only their future, they're brilliant kids. They're smart people and wealthy.
Educated.
Yeah, very educated. Yes.
Malista. Yeah, and again, you've got to love it. But you have to be exposed to the culture, our history. No one has our history.
No one.
So yes, we need to have good people know the history of Elada and Kipro and Hellenismo. The ancient Greeks. You talk about the Philhellenes. The ancient Greeks called Philhellenes Hellenes, we have a great reputation in this country because of our yayades and our papules. We stand on their shoulders, and the Americani really love us. But we don't speak. But we don't speak up enough about the issues, and it's a shame. But we don't do enough to spread the good word.
Uh, Gus Biliraki, one question that I think many people have at this point regarding the wars in Middle East and in Ukraine.
Yeah.
We know that Donald Trump didn't start any wars. However, the question is, how do you stop these two big wars taking place right now?
You know what, Dimitri? I think Trump, with the right Secretary of State, will negotiate this war and end the fighting. Now, it may take some sacrifice on Ukraine's part as far as giving up some territory, which I don't want to see. But I don't see an end to this war unless we negotiate. So this is what I feel about Ukraine, I feel for our fellow Orthodox Christians because they've been persecuted by Russia for a long time. But then on both sides there's always been some problems with their leaders, but more with Putin, obviously. The Middle East is more complicated, but look what Trump did with the Abraham Accords. I mean, that wasn't easy. And that gives you an idea of what he can do in the Middle East. And again, the one thing about Trump is he's not a warmonger. We know that. They used to call him a warmonger, like they called Reagan a warmonger. He doesn't want to send our men and women, our kids, Tapediamas, to war. Look what the consequences are. These poor people are walking around with no limbs in some cases, and then brain injuries. It's just awful. So I think that he's a great negotiator. And the other thing is, what he does is he has these cabinet meetings, and he'll take a position, and this is like a good CEO would do. He would take a position on an issue, but then he would say, look, prove me wrong. I want you to fight it out. Fight it out between yourselves, the cabinet members. And then you may change my mind. So, people don't see that. And I see it, and I wish more people could see it, that he is a good leader. He says things, again, that we disagree with. But also, he's a straight shooter. Correct. And we know where he stands. And I'd rather have that than somebody telling me a bunch of sermata to my face.
So, closing this interview, and for one more time, I want to thank you. I want to thank you because you're always there for the Greek community. You're always there for Elas FM. You're always there for us journalists and myself, to be honest, Gus, and I really appreciate this. So, the question is your prognosis for Tuesday. You said before that you think Trump will win. How confident are you? And of course, how is your area? I mean, is it going to be an easy victory for your case?
We work really hard. I try to do my job, and I don't really rest at all. I haven't been to Greece since 2021. I haven't been on vacation. I went to Greece, and it was half vacation, half business, meeting with the leaders in Elada. So, we work very hard, and I have a presence in my district, and people like the way I vote too. So I think we're going to be okay. And now, we had the hurricanes, and we're trying to help as many people as we can in my area. This first time, as a matter of fact, I don't even, unfortunately, because of the legislature, I don't represent Tarpon Springs anymore, even though it's my home. And of course, I helped the people of Tarpon Springs on a regular basis. But this is the first time since 1920 they've been hit on these hurricanes. It's terrible all over the district. And I'm helping as many people as I can. But I think we're going to be okay, Dimitri. And as far as Trump is concerned, I've never been more confident. I think he's going to do better than he did in 2016. And then, I think we pick up the Senate and pick up a couple seats in the House.
All right.
Mr. Bilirakis, I would like to thank you personally, and of course on behalf of the Friends for Re-electing Donald J. Trump, for being with us. We try to convey to our Homogenia that they have to get up and vote, if not before the 5th of November, on the 5th of November. Vote down the party on the ballot, Republicans through and through, and we hope for the best. But what would be your closing your statement? What would be your suggestion for the Greek American community towards these very, very crucial elections?
Well, first of all, I love all of them. Okay, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, Independents, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I love them all the Greek Americans, and of course our people in Elada and Kipro. We'll continue to work for Elada and Kipro, and of course our beloved United States of America. But I feel that people should make a decision on what is better for them, what is better for their families. Is it Kamala, who really hasn't done much while she was a United States Senator, and she can't even go into depth on a lot of these issues when she has her interviews. So is it Kamala, or is it a businessman that has a proven record, a track record for 4 years in the White House, and things were much better off? So, yeah, that's what I would tell the people. You're right. And as far as Elada and Kipro is concerned, I will push very hard that he makes the right decisions for them, because it's in the best interest of the United States as well.
Well, we thank you again. Thank you really, truly much, because you enriched us with your insights, and it's going to, I do believe that it's going to help our efforts, and that we're not satisfied until we see President Trump sworn in on the 20th. Until then, we're going to have reserved optimism. But we thank you truly for being with us tonight, and hope to see you or talk to you soon.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Gus. We renew our appointment for the night of the elections, the same way you did the last two elections.
I will.
You're always there, and it's greatly appreciated. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being a good friend. Ζήτω η Ελλάδα, ζήτω η Αμερική, ζήτω η Κάλυμνος.
Μάλιστα. Να ζήσει η Ελλάδα, να ζήσει η Κύπρο μας και να ζήσει η Κάλυμνος μας.
Έτσι ακριβώς.
Και ξέρεις, ο γιος μου, ο πρωτογιός παντρεύεται στην Ελλάδα το καλοκαίρι.
Οπότε, after 2021, finally you're going back to Greece.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
I can't wait.
Excellent. We only wish good for you.
All the best, actually.
All the best results, and of course for your beautiful family. Correct me, you have 4 kids, right?
4 boys.
Yes, perfect. 4 boys. Perfect. I wish you all the best, and thank you for everything you do, Gus.
My pleasure, Dimitri.
And maybe I will see you in DC. I may be coming to cover the elections.
Let me know.
So I will meet you there.
Yeah, hey, if you don't have a place to stay, you can stay with me, Dimitri.
I
have
know,
an apartment.
you know
that.
I have already been hosted by Gas Bilirakis in his house.
Yeah.
He was a great host. This is, I need to admit it. Thank you for everything. I really appreciate it, Gas. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Dimitri.
Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Γεια σας.
Good night, good night.
Κυρίες και κύριοι, ο υπέροχος Γκάς Μπιλιράκης, και είναι αλήθεια αυτό πέρα που λέει. Μία από τις φορές που πήγα στην Ουάσιγκτον, επειδή είχε πάρα πολλή κίνηση, πάρα πολύ κόσμο, δεν κατάφερα να κλείσω ξενοδοχείο και μου λέει, ξέρεις κάτι, μου λέει, θα έρθεις στο σπίτι μου να μείνεις. Και με φιλοξένησε στο σπίτι του.
Wow.
Τόσο απλός, τόσο αληθινός, υπέροχος. Γυρίσαμε, πήγαμε μαζί. Αυτό ήταν για σένα, θα πρέπει να είσαι και εσύ εκεί πέρα. Στο Republican Party πήγαμε μαζί. Με πήγε σε ένα κλαμπ καταπληκτικό που είναι οι βουλευτές όλοι στο Καπιτόλιο. Με γύρισε. Πραγματικά τον ευχαριστώ από την καρδιά μου, γιατί πάντα είναι εξαιρετικός. Λοιπόν, κυρίες και κύριοι, εδώ στον Ελλάς FM, εδώ στο ραδιόφωνο μας, ακούσαμε τον βουλευτή των Ηνωμένων Πολιτειών, τον κύριο Γκάς Μπιλιράκη, και συνεχίζουμε. Θα κάνουμε και μια σούμα τι είπε ούτως ή άλλως.
He's not